When pride grew teeth, but wisdom grew wings. In the golden grasslands where the wind whispered secrets to the acacia trees, there lived a lion whose roar could shake dew from the morning leaves. His name was known across hills and valleys, and even the rivers seemed to hush when he came to drink. At first, he ruled with strength and fairness, and the animals respected him the way one respects thunder, dangerous yet necessary. But as seasons turned and victories piled upon victories, something began to change. Pride crept into his heart like a slow-growing vine wrapping itself around a tree. Soon he no longer hunted because he needed food. He hunted to prove he could. He no longer roared to warn. He roared to hear his own echo bounce back from the hills. The elders would sigh and say, "When a drum beats too loudly, it forgets the hands that made it." But the lion did not listen. He began to demand that every animal bow when he passed. The antelope bent their knees, the buffalo lowered their heads, and even the sly hyena forced a grin of respect. Those who hesitated felt the sharp reminder of his claws. One dry afternoon, when the sun sat heavily in the sky like a tired chief, the lion made a decree. He gathered all the animals at the watering hole and spoke with a voice as deep as a storm cloud. "From today," he said, "I shall no longer hunt. Instead, each day one of you will come willingly to be my meal. That is the price of living under my protection." A silence fell. Even the cicadas stopped their song. The animals trembled. For who can argue with a storm when it has already begun to rain? So it began. Each day a different animal walked the path to the lion's den, their footsteps heavy with dread. The bush grew quieter, laughter faded, and even the wind seemed to carry sorrow. But among them lived a hare, small, soft, and often overlooked. Yet his eyes were bright like stars that refused to be swallowed by the night. He watched, he listened, and he thought. "For every strong arm," he muttered one evening, "there is a sharper mind waiting in the shadows." When his turn finally came, the animals gathered around him, their hearts heavy. "My brother," said the tortoise, "run while you can." But the hare shook his head. "A man who runs from trouble meets it at the crossroads," he replied. "Let me go. Sometimes the smallest key opens the biggest door." And so he set off, but not in haste. He walked slowly, stopping here and there as though time itself was his companion. The sun climbed high, then began its descent, and still the hare had not reached the lion. By the time he arrived, the lion was pacing, his hunger roaring louder than his voice. "Why are you late?" the lion thundered, his mane bristling like dry grass in a wildfire. "Do you mock me, little one?" The hare fell low, trembling just enough to be convincing. "Great king," he said, his voice soft like the rustle of leaves, "forgive me, I did not come alone." The lion's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" "There were 5 of us," the hare continued, "but on our way here we were stopped by another lion." The ground seemed to hold its breath. "Another lion," the great beast roared. "In my land?" "Yes, my lord," the hare said, nodding quickly. "He claimed to be the true king. He was larger than any lion I have ever seen, and his voice—" The hare shuddered. It was like thunder breaking a mountain. The lion's pride flared like fire fed with dry wood. "Take me to him," he growled. "I will show him who rules these lands." The hare bowed, hiding the flicker of a smile. "As you wish, great king. But he lives in a deep place where echoes speak and shadows deceive." "I fear nothing," the lion snapped. "Even a wise man fears the pit he cannot see the bottom of," the hare murmured, but softly enough that the lion ignored him. They walked together through the tall grass past whispering trees and silent stones until they reached an old well hidden among thorny bushes. Its mouth was dark, its depths unknown, and the air around it felt cooler, as though it guarded secrets. "He is inside," the hare said, pointing. The lion stepped forward and peered into the well. There, staring back at him, was another lion, fierce, proud, and unyielding. When he growled, the reflection growled back, louder and deeper. The lion's fury exploded. "So you dare challenge me?" he roared, his voice shaking the earth. From the well came the same roar, rising to meet him like a rival's defiance. Without another thought, the lion leapt. Down he plunged into the darkness, claws striking nothing but cold stone, his roar swallowed by the deep. The water below closed over him, and the echoes faded into silence. The hare stepped back, dusted his ears, and looked at the still surface of the well. "A proud man," he said quietly, "is like a goat that sharpens its horns against a rock. It forgets the rock does not move." When the hare returned to the animals, they gathered around him in disbelief. "Where is the lion?" they asked. The hare smiled gently. "He went to fight himself and lost." At first they did not understand, but when they went to the well and saw no sign of the great beast, only ripples fading into calm, a murmur of relief spread through the land. Laughter returned to the grasslands. The birds sang louder, the rivers danced brighter, and even the wind seemed to carry joy once more. From that day on, the animals remembered, strength may rule for a moment, but wisdom rules forever. And they would tell their children and their children's children, no matter how tall the tree grows, it cannot escape the axe sharpened by patience.